Hello lovely people, you're welcome to the channel. This is Uglo Fashion. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'll be showing you how to make this trending kimono Bubu short gown. It's a well detailed tutorial, so please stay tuned and enjoy the tutorial till the end. This is the measurement I'll be working with today, and this is the Ankara fabric also that I'll be using alongside with the shining face fabric. So this will serve as the sleeve part. So I tried to make the measurement more visible by bringing it closer to the camera. I went ahead to fold the fabric into two. This is the shining face. I folded it into two. So in order to know how far to fold so you don't waste fabric, you measure from the middle of your neckline down to the particular point you want the sleeve to end. So for me, from the middle of my neckline to where the sleeve will end, it's 14 inches, and I added half inch. I'll be connecting the shining face to it, so I added half inch, making 14.5 inches. So if you want yours to be longer than that, you can add additional inches. So after that, I measured the nipple point, shoulder to nipple point, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to half length, shoulder to hip length, then the length of the dress. The length of the gown is 40 inches. So I also measured that, and I added 2 inches for M. Having done with all of that, the next thing to do now is to measure the hip circumference. So it is the hip circumference that you will use all through for the measurement. You will understand better when I start chalking them out. So the hip circumference is 39 inches rather. So 39 divided by 4, and I added 1 inch for ease, 1 inch for allowance. So I'll be having straight line since it's the same measurement I'll be using all through. That is, the same measurement I use for the hip is the same I will use for the nipple point, the same measurement I will use for half length and the rest. So I'll just go ahead and connect with my ruler. Like I said, I'll be having straight line as the measurement. There's no curve parts in this. Having done with that, the next thing to do is to measure the armhole. So for the armhole, it depends on how wide you want it to be. If you want your armpit showing, but I don't like such, so I try to reduce mine. So instead of using, I went ahead to use like 1 inch after the nipple point. 1 inch after the nipple point. So if you want your armpit showing, you can use from shoulder to under bust. So that's where your sleeve will end. Then after that, from the shoulder I measure 2 inches and I slant it to the neckline. So which means if you subtract the 2 inches from the measurement of the armhole, it's going to give you something around 9 inches. So which means I used 9 inches for the armhole. Then for the neckline, I used 4 inches. That's because there's still going to be, should I call it robe or collar at the neck. So I used 4 inches for that by 1. That's because I'm cutting the back bodies first. Then I just connected everything. I initially measured 2 inches at the shoulder, so I connected everything together. I later went ahead to cut them out. this is the result. After cutting, I placed it on the remaining fabric to cut the front bodies as well, but because there is going to be collar there, I had to open up the front bodies. So the front bodies is opened while the back is locked. The next thing to do now, I did not shape the neckline of the front. I only used the neckline of the back for the front. So I placed the tape back at the shoulder, then I measured 6 inches. This too varies. It depends on how you want the neckline to be. If you want your cleavage showing, you can measure like 9 inches, 8 inches. It depends on your choice. So, and I've done that now. I've reshaped the front bodies. So to know the length, the length of the rope to use, you measure from the length of the front bodies. That's what I'm trying to do here. I have 38 inches. Then I went ahead to measure for the remaining part of the back neckline. So I have 40 something thereabout. And the fabric is on fold, which means I'll be doing double of whatever I have here. Whatever the end result is, I'll be measuring double of it. And when you are measuring the double part of it, you don't need to add any extra allowance, since there will still be stitch. You'll be stitching the shoulders. So which means if I have like 47 inches for the total, I'll be cutting 47 inches into 2, which means that's 94. So I'll need like 94 inches for the length. Then for the width, I'll be using 3.5 inches. That's for the width, since it's going to be on fold. Then having done with the neckline, I went ahead to cut for the sleeve as well. So for the sleeve also, I used 3.5 inches by the length of the circumference of the round sleeve. Not the circumference of your usual round sleeve, but the circumference of the round sleeve of this particular style. So the first thing to do is to stitch the shoulders together. That's what I'm doing now. You first stitch the shoulders of the front bodies and the back bodies together. Then after stitching the 2 sides of the shoulders, you stitch the rope together. The parts that should be joined. Then after stitching that, you fold like 1/4 inch in, or you can iron it. But if you don't want to iron, you can just fold 1/4 inch in. Then you place on the main bodies of your style, you place it on the fabric at the wrong side. You can see it's on the wrong side of the fabric. Then you stitch all around. That is, the front and the back bodies are being connected together now, so you stitch all around. So this is what you have at the end of the day. Then you just top stitch the folded parts, the parts that I said you can iron or you stitch on. Just top stitch it on the front bodies, or the right side of the fabric rather. You top stitch on the right side of the fabric, since you first stitch on the wrong side, so you top stitch on the right side of the fabric. You can see it's very easy to do. It's not hard and it's not really. So the next thing is to stitch them on each other like this. Then you ensure they are well placed. Just place the tip on each other till it reaches the neckline. So after that, the next thing also to do is to stitch the shiny face to the sleeve side. So this is the sleeve side. At first you stitch the shiny face to the wrong side of the fabric, just the way we did for the main bodies of the clothes. Then I went ahead to iron just 1/4 inch in, instead of, so I ironed 1/4 inch in instead of stitching on it. Now to the final part of it, you stitch the measurement. So thank you very much for watching this video till the end. Stay blessed, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thank you and God bless you.